Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here, and we're taking a look at a special figure this time around. Seeing as we just recently covered Shockwave, we're going to talk about this special version of Shockwave, Shockbot. Shockbot here was donated to the channel on a small loan. A friend of my brother's, Brycey, donated this figure. It is a repaint of a Cobra bat figure from the G.I. Joe toy line, done up as a Shockwave type character. Now, it's been hard to find conclusive sources as to where this figure appeared. It was obviously a convention exclusive. The earliest records that I've been able to trace for it is that it appeared at a New Jersey Comic-Con back in 2016. But apparently it's relatively easy to find on eBay. In fact, there was a second toy available with it alongside Shockbot called Soundbot. And it was a bat repainted to look like Soundwave. Now, of course, for a little information for those of you who aren't as familiar with the G.I. Joe lore, the bats first appeared in the toy line in 1986. They were additional army builder type characters. The bat name is an acronym that stands for Battle Android Trooper. They're basically humanoid robots built for combat. Cobra Commander had Dr. Mindbender build these battlefield robots to add some extra firepower to his legions. That and the fact that Cobra Commander is extremely paranoid of his own minions. So he'd rather have some that he can be assured are under his complete, absolute control. He finds the bats superior to the normal vipers in the sense that bats never shirk their duty, complain about the chow, and they always follow orders. Now, while bats are serviceable in that capacity, they are notoriously bad about having poor targeting systems and no way to distinguish between friend and foe. So a lot of times on the battlefield, bats will shoot anything that moves. Be it friend, foe, or dumb animal that happens to walk in its path. At any rate, as this figure is basically a customized version of the original 1986 release, it has the same types of parts available for it, as well as the same articulation, but we will cover that a little later. The main gimmick about the bat is the fact that its right hand is interchangeable with other weapons. Right now it has a gripper claw on it. We'll take a look at the accessory. It's the same exact shaped style accessory, but it's done up in purple. It's a nice looking little claw hand, and the top of it here almost looks like a saw blade of sorts. I don't know if that's coming through very well on the camera, but the top of it does sort of look like a saw blade. Even so, even if it isn't, it's still a nice serrated edge, so that'd be a nasty weapon in combat. Of course, he stores all of his other weapons here in his backpack. We'll just take them out one at a time here. This one here is the laser cannon, which, of course, with this supposedly being Shockwave, the laser cannon probably works better, even though it's on the wrong hand. Unfortunately, on the bat figure, you can only interchange the right hand. I believe later versions, including the upcoming classified version, does allow the left hand to be changed out as well. So that makes for a nice alternative. And then next in here we have a flamethrower. Quite a versatile unit, this bat. Just peg that in there, and now he's ready to go smoke the jungles or fry some xenomorphs. And then, of course, lastly, he has an ordinary hand. Of course, one detail I like here about the hand, so that you can see up close here, is it does have sort of gear-like things here around the wrist. Kind of like how it simulates a mechanical being clenching a hand into a fist. That's a nice little detail. It's not something a lot of us non-robotics experts think about, but it is a nice little detail. And then lastly, of course, we have, once I pick it up off the floor, we have probably the only unchanged accessory from the original toy, a black backpack. It's hollow on the side that goes onto his back, but it does have a peg that goes into the hole in the figure's back. It's got some nice mechanical details here on the outer side of it, so that looks kind of nice. And then on the inside of it, it has 3 pegs, and that would be where it would peg in whatever weapons it's not storing. Which I can agree with a fair amount of G.I. Joe collectors, especially my mentor, Hooded Cobra Commander 788. You'll like it when it can hold all the pieces. That makes it easier for you not to lose them. Unfortunately, as I recall, a lot of the later figures came with more accessories than they could hold. Now we'll take a look at the articulation here on Shockbot. And he had what would have been the standard articulation for a G.I. Joe guy in 1986. The head can be turned from side to side, and it will look up and down due to it being on a ball joint. His arms can raise out that far, and they do rotate at the shoulder all the way. You can bend his arm at the shoulder 90 degrees, and he does have a swivel at the bicep, the infamous G.I. Joe swivel arm battle grip. He is an O-ring type figure, so he does move at the torso a bit. Although, truth be told, I did like the lenticular sticker that used to be on the original bat more than the Decepticon symbol here. You can spread his legs apart about so far. He can raise his leg up at the hip about 90 degrees, and he can bend at the knee 90 degrees. So, pretty standard movement for a G.I. Joe guy of his original era. But of course, now we get down to my thoughts with him. What do I think of Shockbot? Well, it is an interesting figure, I will give it that. I do question the choice of using Shockwave and Soundwave as bats, since both robots are highly intelligent, and therefore would not really make good bat troopers. But, on the other hand, it is a little bit of a playful toy, and I will give it that much. It is certainly interesting and unique. If you're a fan of Transformers and or G.I. Joe, this is probably a figure you wouldn't mind having in your collection. Especially if you collect the vintage-style G.I. Joes. This little guy can actually fit within your Cobra vehicles. A Decepticon joining the Cobra ranks. Okay, we know that's been done numerous times, and let's face it, we all saw the revelation of Megatron becoming a Hiss tank that's coming out next year. Hopefully that'll be worth it. At any rate, that's my review of Shockbot. I hope everybody enjoyed it. And again, a thanks to Brycey for loaning this figure to the channel. If you remember, if you like the kind of content that we show here on this channel, please do remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because we appreciate the feedback here. This is Sparkster1701 saying I'll catch you all later.